In 1971, Paul Heinz Esser went on a dive with 3 other trainees, lost his safety line, and drowned while exploring the Porth Yr Ogof cave. In 2010, his body was recovered from the cave system after lying underground for nearly 40 years. The Porth Yr Ogof cave is located close to Ystradfellte village, near the southern boundary of the Brecon Beacons National Park, Wales. In 1998, the length of this cave system was measured, resulting in more than 1.4 miles of passages. The cave is on the course of the Afon Mellte River, and it has 15 entrances, one of which is the largest entrance in Wales and one of the largest cave entrances in the UK. This entrance, called the main entrance, is as wide as 66 feet and as high as 26 feet. People often prefer to enter the cave through this entrance with either a dry ledge on the left or by diving through the knee-deep river to the center and the right. The Tradesman's or Workman's entrance is the second most used entrance in this cave system. If you pass through this entrance, one of the passages leads to a mud cavern. Porth Yr Ogof has been turned into a cave diving training ground. Almost every place within the cave is filled with water. There's a pool called the White Horse Pool. It was named after the shape of the calcite deposit on the wall at the back. The pool is much deeper, and it has several flooded passages. Most of these flooded passages are on the northern side of Tradesman's entrance. The Porth Yr Ogof cave holds the unfortunate second place for the highest death records in a single cave in the UK or Ireland. Due to strong current and cold water, this cave can be very dangerous. It's claimed the lives of 11 people since 1957, 10 of which happened in the cold, fast-flowing, and 23-foot-deep resurgence pool at the far end of the cave where the Afon Mellte resurges. On February 13, 1971, Paul Heinz Esser left for a cave diving exploration at Porth Yr Ogof. Paul was a 21-year-old medical student at Bristol University. He was a skilled open-water diver who had been to several springs for open-water diving. After some time, he began to develop an interest in cave diving and decided to go for cave diving training. He was doing well in cave diving training and was seen as one of the promising upcoming experts in the cave diving community. Paul went on this exploration with 3 other skilled trainees. They were also at Porth Yr Ogof to practice diving from Tradesman's entrance to the rollboat chamber, then back to Tradesman's entrance. Paul planned on entering through Tradesman's entrance to rollboat chamber, winding in a loose line as he was to exit through the top entrance. This was their dive plan. The night preceding Paul's adventure, he met with John Parker, who was well-versed with these cave systems, to tell him more about the cave. Back on September 26, 1970, John Parker explored this cave system, laying a blue-tagged line from the top entrance upstream. The line covered about 469 feet into the cave. He hid the belay under the water right inside the top entrance. This was the same line that was still in this cave when Paul went for his exploration of the cave systems. Another line also runs downstream of the 4-way junction. Many loose lines hinder divers during their exploration of the cave. Paul and Lloyd went together to the top entrance in search of John's belay, but couldn't find it. They assumed that it was not seen because Parker had initially hidden it when he laid it. They never knew it had been washed downstream. Paul entered alone through Tradesman's entrance as planned. He carried with him a single 1,200-liter gas cylinder. He was also carrying a Spartan Titan II valve with a pressure gauge, a knife, a compass, a watch, and an empty line reel for picking up loose line. When he got to Tradesman's entrance, his diving line got broken, but he amended it with another line of about 10 feet in length. After about 15 minutes, the other 3 divers entered through Tradesman's entrance. They continued their dive until they reached the rollboat chamber, where they met Paul, who had collected many lines that he wanted to wind on the spare reel. Paul was reeling in a thin line that had no tags. From there, he went upstream. The other 3 divers stayed at the rollboat chamber for some time before they returned to the entrance. The water was very cold. The temperature was about 6 degrees Celsius. While Paul continued his journey upstream from the rollboat chamber, He passed through an oxbow, which has an airspace. He saw a loose line with a blue tag that was across the stream. He took it up and started winding it on his line reel. He began reeling the line starting from the end belayed just inside the top entrance. While winding the line as he went, he mistakenly dropped the guideline he was following, which was supposed to lead him to the base. He continued reeling and followed the line with the blue tag upstream. He had gone far away for about 98 feet before he realized that he had dropped his guideline. So he thought to himself that the blue tag line would lead him to the top entrance where he could come out of the cave. He later dropped the line reel and dashed it. That action was the biggest mistake any diver could make. Now, coupled with the mistake of dropping the guidelines, he also didn't check his air tank to know the amount of air left for him. If he had checked this, he would have started returning to the surface earlier than he did. He later got stranded in the cave looking for a way out, but unfortunately, he couldn't find one. Going through all that stress of trying to find his way out, Paul ran out of air completely and eventually drowned. When he didn't come out as expected, they already knew something had gone wrong, so they called a recovery team to the cave site, but they couldn't retrieve his body from the cave. The recovery team was not able to locate Paul's body. They tried several times to retrieve his body, but all attempts failed because of poor visibility and the water was too risky to dive in. After 39 years, the South and Mid Wales Cave Rescue Team recovered his remains from the cave at the request of his surviving family members. 2 professional divers recovered the body in 2010. Paul's mother had given up on the retrieval of her son's body from this cave. In 2010, after she and her husband, Paul's father, died, the surviving family members called out for help to recover the body. Paul's family members went to the cave site when the recovery operations began. The family undertaker received the body after retrieval for proper burial. He was buried beside his parents' grave. His family lived in Surrey. Every year, some cavers pay a visit of honor to the cave where Paul died. He would have been 60 years old in 2010 when his body was retrieved, but he died at the age of 21 in 1971. A lot has changed in the world of diving. It was quite hard to go on a recovery operation in the 70s because of a lack of adequate technology. Thankfully, the recovery operation was made successful in 2010 with the help of great technological advancement that wasn't available in 1971. We would like to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching, take a dive on the like and subscribe buttons and hit the bell icon so you get notified when we come back with another exciting cave diving story.